Hello and welcome. This video series on important economic questions and answers from the past papers of Mumbai University. In this video, I'll be covering questions and answers, and these question and answers can come from any part of our topics on economics, as well as in any type of format, that is either 2 marks or 13 marks or 6 marks or 4 marks, whatever. So we will go through detailed reading of these important questions which have come in the past. Now in this series, as of now, I have question and answers of two sets of past question papers. Now these are important questions nonetheless, and I feel that doing these many question answers would also give us easy passing marks at least, and maybe more. Of course, it is very difficult to remember so much stuff, so I'm going to go very slow. Maybe it will be around a 10-hour series of videos. I don't know how long it will be, because I'm going very slowly, because I have to also understand these questions and also their answers so that I can expand and write in the exams. So I'm also a student in that sense. I'm not a teacher. So we'll go through this step by step. No need to rush into it. I have ample of time. We still have a lot of time for exams. So these are most important questions. And as I said, we can use it up in multiple ways, different places. Even just a cursory reading of these question answers, I'm sure most of us can very easily score in economics. I'll be covering more question papers and their answer series in other videos, but this video itself, this series itself is going to go into hours. I am very sure of that. So take your time, read it. Also, you can listen to this in 1.25x on YouTube or 1.5x if you want to rush through the video, because I'm going to take it very slow. First of all, I'm making this video for myself. Other than that, if it helps somebody else also, I'm sure it is helping. My videos are helping others also, then I'll be very happy to do that. Do share the link of these videos into your college groups or your friend groups or whatever. If you can share it, very nice. As these videos have helped you, maybe it can help others as well. And I'm very sure a lot of students are scared of the approaching exams, but I would assure that it's not that difficult if there is a little bit of effort from our end. Enough of lecture. Let's start the actual topic of economics. What is normative economics? What is normative economics? Alright, so we had two types of economics, positive economics and we have normative economics. Let's understand what is normative economics. I'm going to go very slow, as I said. You can listen to this video on a 1.5 or 1.25x, whatever, like that higher speed on YouTube. That option is available. Alright, so normative economics is a branch of economics that focuses on what ought to be. This is the key word, what ought to be, rather than what is. So this is more of the positive economics, is more of actual or practical, whereas normative economics is more of theoretical. So normative economics is a branch of economics that focuses on what ought to be rather than what is. It deals with value judgments, opinions, and prescriptions for economic policies and outcomes. Alright, so it is value judgments, opinions, prescriptions for making or implementation of new economic policies. Basically, these are suggestions that normative economic gives. Unlike positive economics, which is objective and fact based, normative economics involves subjective statements and recommendations and suggestions about economic goals and policies. Alright, so what is normative economics and what is positive economics? So positive economics is basically fact based. It states what is actually, whereas normative economics is opinion based. It prescribes what ought to be. Alright, so this is the main difference between normative economics and positive economics. Let's look at the key characteristics of normative economics. Alright, first is it is value laden, it is prescriptive, it is subjective. All these three are the definitions of normative economics also. So value laden, it is influenced by personal values, opinions, ethical considerations and societal preferences. How? So personal values, personal opinions that will influence. For example, if somebody says tax rates needs to be lowered or inflation is very high, inflation needs to come down. So these are all suggestions or opinions. Okay, the poor should be taxed less. That is some kind of ethical consideration or societal preferences. So these are suggestions basically. Prescriptive, it suggests, okay, what economic policies or actions should be taken to achieve desired outcomes. It is not fact based. It will just suggest what ought to be. Subjective, it involves opinions that cannot be proven true or false through empirical analysis. So basically here there is no analysis done. These are just basically suggestions or prescriptions of what has to happen in the economy. For example, the exports should be banned for say onions if there is a shortage of onions. So these are just suggestions, but ultimately it does get implemented. First there are suggestions, which is normative economics, and then it actually gets implemented and it becomes a fact. So everything starts with normative economics and then becomes positive economics. So it is normative economics is based on personal values, ethical considerations, societal preferences, and it will suggest, normative economic generally suggests what economic policies or actions should be taken to achieve desired outcomes. And it also involves opinions that cannot be proven true or false through empirical analysis, that is past data analysis. Right. Let's look at some of the examples of normative statements. The government should increase the minimum wage to reduce income inequality. This is a suggestion. This is opinion. Taxes on the wealthy should be higher to promote social equality. Again, this is the opinion. Healthcare should be free for all citizens. This is a kind of a societal, as we saw, societal preferences. And ethical consideration should be that minimum wage should be minimum wages should be increased to reduce income inequality. And personal values could be taxes on the wealthy should be higher to promote societal equity. So these are the different examples of normative statements. We'll recap this. The government should increase the minimum wage to reduce income inequality. Taxes on the wealthy should be higher to promote societal or social equity. Healthcare should be free for all citizens. This one example would suffice for the exam for normative statements. But if it comes for a higher marks like 13 marks or so, then we can give more examples. These statements are based on beliefs about what is desirable or fair, and they often reflect different ideological or cultural perspectives. Okay. Importance of normative in economics. That is, what is the importance of this branch of economics? Normative economics plays a crucial role in shaping public policy and debates. Correct. Only when suggestions are given, then only discussion will happen on that, debate will happen in the public, and that can ultimately lead to implementation of those suggestions. So normative economics plays a crucial role in shaping public policy and debates, as it helps frame discussions. However, since normative economics is subjective, it often requires a clear separation from positive economics. Separation from positive economics to avoid confusion between what is and what ought to be. So this completes our first question on what is normative economics. Now let us go into our second question. As I said, the video is going to be quite long. Each video will be more than an hour, and this way we'll try to cover maximum questions. So listen to this with a calm mind. No need to take too much stress, because this is also very interesting to understand how there are two branches of economics, that is positive and normative. And normative is just prescriptive, that is, it just tells you what needs to be there. It's an opinion, it's a suggestion. But that is what ought to be, OUGHT, what ought to be. Whereas positive economics states what is. So we have to understand it in a very practical manner and not try to memorize it, but rather understand it and try to expand on it as much as possible. What is meant by supply? So we have demand and supply. So in this question we are learning the definition of supply. Supply in economics refers to the quantity of good or service that producers are willing and able to offer for sale at various prices. So supply in economics refers to quantity of good or service that producers are willing and able is important, to offer for sale at various prices over specific period of time. That is, in 1 year, for example, that is specific period of time, 1 year, how much quantity of goods or services the manufacturers or the producers are willing and also able to offer for sale and at various prices. So this is what is supply. So the key words here is time, a specific period of time, various price levels, offer for sale, willingness and the ability to manufacture or to produce by the producers, and how much quantity of goods or services they can produce. So we'll once again go through this. Supply in economics refers to the quantity of good or service that producers are willing and able to offer for sale at various prices over a specific period of time. It represents the relationship. What represents the supply between the price of a product and the quantity that producers are prepared to sell, other factors remaining constant. What is supply? Supply, again, another definition is supply represents the relationship between the price of the product and the quantity that producers are prepared to sell, that is willing and able to sell, holding other factors remaining constant. So as the price of the product increases, what will happen to the quantity that producers are prepared to sell? What do you think? As the price goes up, the producers will produce more and they will try to sell more quantity. They'll try to produce more quantity and sell them that quantity of production. So it will increase. This is direct relationship between the price of the product and the quantity produced for sale. Of course, other factors should remain constant. All right, now let's look at the key features of supply. Now, when we have to learn the definition of supply, now how do we learn this? I feel, for myself I'm talking, is that first I will keep myself in the shoes of a producer. I'll become a producer. Now, if I am a producer, if I'm making something, okay, I'll be selling that thing. Let's say I'm manufacturing shoes. So I'll be manufacturing for determining supply. In my particular case, in terms of sale of shoes or manufacturing of shoes, I'll take 1 year period. In that 1 year period, how much quantity of that good or that service I am able to produce, I am willing and able to produce and sell it at different price points, at different price levels in a specific period of time. तो इस तरह से हम याद रख सकते हैं हर एक चीज को कि अगर मैं इकोनॉमिस्ट होता तो पॉजिटिव इकोनॉमिक्स क्या है, नॉर्मेटिव इकोनॉमिक्स क्या है, तो इस तरह से मैं समझ सकता हूं उसको और याद भी रहेगा. पर अगर मैं रट्टा मारने के लिए या बाहर करने के लिए ट्राई करूंगा तो वो इम्पॉसिबल है. ऑफ कोर्स काफी स्टूडेंट्स है जो याद रख सकते हैं, उनका मेमोरी अच्छा है, एग्जाम पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से याद रख सकते हैं, स्कोर भी कर सकते हैं. बट जिन सब स्टूडेंट्स का वो कैपेसिटी नहीं होता है, फॉर एग्जांपल मेरा वो कैपेसिटी नहीं है, तो मुझे समझना पड़ेगा और उसको एक्सपांड करना पड़ेगा. ऑफ कोर्स मार्क्स उतना नहीं मिलेगा जितना एक स्टूडेंट मेमोराइज करके जाएगा. ओके, लेट्स मूव ऑन टू द की फीचर्स ऑफ सप्लाई. सप्लाई के की फीचर्स क्या है? तो वन इज क्वांटिटी, प्राइस डिपेंडेंसी एंड टाइम फ्रेम. ये तीनों हम लोग ने उसके डेफिनेशन में कर दिए थे. सो लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड वन एट ए टाइम. क्वांटिटी क्या होता है? तो इट इज द अमाउंट ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज producers are ready to supply. This is the quantity that I am willing to supply. Quantity of shoes that I am manufacturing, how much of it is I am ready to supply is the quantity. This is the feature of supply. फिर price dependency. Then second is price dependency. Supply typically depends on the price of the good or service. This I talked about, that as the price increases, the quantity supplied quantity supplied also will increase, because the producer wants to make more profit. Because the price is increasing, he'll get more profit. Generally, higher prices encourage producers to supply more, so supply will increase. While as the price decreases, the supplier will decrease the producer will decrease the supply, while lower prices may discourage production. So if the production is reduced, production is becoming less, then the supply will be less. So that in turn, as the supply goes down, the demand will increase, because there is less supply now. See, as the price goes down, the producer will start earning less and less profit. So then they will not be motivated to produce more. So their production will fall. As their production will fall, the supply in the market will come down. As the supply in the market comes down, the demand will increase, because there is now less supply of that good. Now as the demand increases, the price will start increasing. And as the price starts increasing, the producer will want to earn more profit, so he will increase the production and supply of that good or service. Okay, time frame. Supply is always considered within a specific time frame: daily supply, monthly supply, or yearly supply. So these are the key features of supply. Another definition of supply was that as the price of the product increases, the quantity that the producers are willing and able to sell or supply increases, other factors remaining constant. Okay, now what is law of supply? The law of supply states that all else being equal, this is a common syntax, common standard format for both law of supply and law of demand. All else being equal, you have to start like this: an increase in the price of the good leads to an increase in the quantity supplied, and a decrease in the price leads to a decrease in the quantity supplied. This is the law of supply. But this is very important. We have to write this: all else being equal, other things being constant, other factors being constant, as the price of the good or service increases, the quantity supplied by the producer increases, and as the price of the product decreases, or rather goods and service decreases, the quantity supplied by the producer decreases. This is the law of supply. The positive relationship. Why positive? Because if one goes up, the other goes up. Between the price and the quantity supplied is graphically represented by the supply curve, which usually slopes upward. Now let us look at the supply curve chart, and this we have to draw it in the exam. Okay, let us look at the supply curve. So supply curve, which usually slopes upwards. So quantity supplied is on the y-axis and prices is on the x-axis. So here we can see, here it represents the relationship between the price and the quantity supplied. The supply curve typically slopes upwards from left to right, indicating that as the price increases, for example from 2 rupees to 4 rupees, the supply of the quantity also increases from say 4 here to say 6 approximately, and then as it goes to 4 rupees, the quantity supplied is 7.5. Now this could be 7.5 tons or whatever. So basically as the price increases, the quantity supplied also increases, which indicates that as the price increases, the quantity supplied also increases. And in this case, the supply curve is represented by the equation Q is equal to 2P, means how much quantity is supplied is double of the price. So if price increases from 2 to 4, the quantity supplied increases from 4 to 8. So 2 times. Where quantity supplied is Q, increases as the price P rises. It's important to draw the chart of the supply. Okay, now let's look at the types of supplies. Types of supply. So there is individual supply and market supply. The supply of a good by a single producer is individual supply, and the total supply of good by all the producers in the market is market supply. So supply is divided into 2 parts. Individual supply, that is when I alone as a manufacturer supply shoes to the market, sell shoes in the market. Whereas when all manufacturers of shoes along with me, when they supply their produce or their products, their goods in the market, that is market supply. Now let us look at determinants of supply. Now you may think that this is a very long answer, but think of it in this sense that they can just ask you a short note on determinants of supply, or state 2 types of supply. State 2 types of supply. So then you can just write individual supply and market supply and get score there also. Here they can tell you just talk about law of supply. Okay, and key features of supply they can ask. So this way we are covering up all different combinations and permutations of different places where we can score the marks. So think it in that sense. Supply is influenced by various factors. Determinants means what determines the supply. How is it affected? By what are the various factors affecting the supply of good or service? Now what are these factors? First is the price of the good, production cost, technology, price of related good, government policies, expectations, and number of suppliers. We'll take one of them at a time, and also learn it or understand this as if we are actual producers of certain goods. For example, in my case, I said that I am supplying shoes in the market. I am manufacturing shoes. So I know that I will supply more goods or more shoes in the market if the price of the good will increase. The price of these goods will increase. So higher prices generally lead to higher supply. So this is the first determinant or a factor of supply. The price is the first factor. Second is the production cost. So if my production cost of the manufacturing of shoes increases, then of course I will supply less because my profit is coming down. So changes in cost of raw material, labor and technology also determines the supply. That is, if the raw material cost is increasing, I will buy less. If the labor cost is increasing, then I will manufacture less and produce less. If the technology cost is increasing, then I will produce less. But if the raw material cost decreases, then I may buy more and produce more. Similarly, is for labor and technology. If I get a good technology, then my production speed will increase. That is, I'll manufacture more and I'll be able to sell more. So then the supply will increase. Think it in that sense, as if you are an actual seller of a particular goods or services. Now technology. We already spoke about technology. Technological advances will definitely help reduce the production cost, because we are using machinery now. So we can produce more and increase the supply in the market of the goods that we are manufacturing. Prices of related goods. Producers may shift resources to produce more profitable goods. For example, I am manufacturing X shoes and Y shoes, and now I see that I can make more profit in X shoes. Then what I'll do is I'll reduce the quantity of Y shoes because there is less demand. So I'll reduce the quantity and increase the quantity of the X goods or X shoes. So this way the quantity can increase or decrease depending on the prices of related goods. Government policies. Taxes, subsidies and regulations can also affect supply. For example, if the government increases on the shoes that I'm manufacturing GST or some kind of duties, additional duties or cess or whatever it could be, any kind of additional taxes, then what I'll do is, because now I'll be earning less profit, I may reduce my production or my supply. If the government gives me more subsidies, then I may increase the supply. And if government stops me from exporting shoes, then because of regulations, my supply will be affected and I'll reduce the supply. Next is expectations. If producers expect high prices in the future, that is, if I expect high prices in the future, then I may reduce the current supply because I'm expecting more higher profits in the future. Okay, now if my competitors also come into the market, other producers also come in, then the amount of supply in the market will increase. So these are the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 factors of supply, that is determinants of supply. So price of goods, if the price of the good increases, then the supply will increase, and if the price of the good decreases, the supply will be decreased by me. If my production cost goes up due to raw material or labor or technology, then I will reduce my production. But if the technological advances that I'm using, new technologies, if that comes in, or if I don't have that for that matter, so if I have it, then my production will increase, that is my supply will increase in the market. And if the technological advances are not there, I'm not able to take advantage of new technology for manufacturing shoes, then my production will decrease, that is, the supply in the market will decrease. Fourth was prices of the related goods. As I said, if my Y shoes I'm getting less profit, then I will switch over to the X goods. I'll produce more of X goods and supply more of X goods. Government policies also will affect the supply of the goods in the market, taxes, subsidies and regulations. Now, expectations of the producer, that is, if I expect that the prices of the X shoes are going to increase going forward next month due to whatever reason, then I will hold back the supply. I will not supply it in the market. Same thing is for the onions or tomatoes in the market, vegetables, where the producers, they deliberately stop the supply so that they can earn more profit going 15-20 days down the line. Finally, if there are more suppliers in the market, then of course the supply will increase because there are more people coming to sell the produce. Now, understanding the supply is essential for analyzing markets. Why is it essential? To analyze the market and predicting how producers respond to changes in price and other economic conditions. So this can also come for short answer, short question. Why understanding supply is important? So it helps in predicting of price, analyzing the market by the producers, and also determining the economic condition. Because if producers are producing less, it means the economic situation of the country is not good. Manufacturers are producing less, so the overall tax collection will be less, and overall economic downturn can be expected because of that. It is one kind of a precondition. All right. Next is give characteristic of land. So these are the factors of production: land, labor, capital, and other resources. So in economics, land refers to one of the four factors of production, as I said, along with the land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship. It includes all natural resources that are used to produce goods and services. Okay, land covers all natural resources that are used to produce goods and services. Now, what are its main characteristics or features of the land as a factor of production? Okay, land, of course, we do not have unlimited land on earth. There is a fixed land on the earth. So the supply of land is fixed and it is immovable. That is immobility. It cannot be moved. That we all know. So that is one of the features of land. Land is finite, means limited resource. Its supply is limited, yes, and cannot be increased, of course. Unlike labor or capital, land cannot be created or expanded. Labor can be expanded, capital can be created. There is a fixed amount of land available on earth that we know. Land is immobile, that is cannot be moved, in the sense that it cannot be moved from one place to another. Each piece of land is fixed in its geographical location. Correct. Heterogeneity, that is variety. Not all land is same. It varies in quality and location. Some lands are fertile, some lands are not fertile. That is, you can grow vegetables and crops on them, and some places are not suitable for growing vegetation. Some land is more fertile and suitable for agriculture, while other land may be more suitable for construction or industry. Factors such as climate, soil quality, accessibility, all these influence the value of the land also. The quality of the soil, what climate it is. If it's very hot, then the demand for land may be less because people don't want to go into humid area or very hot areas. Permanent and durable. Land is durable and does not lose its value over time, unlike some other factors of production like machinery or equipment, which can wear out. As long as it is used properly, land can last indefinitely. Scarcity. The scarcity of land is one of its defining features. There is only a limited amount of usable land available for agricultural, industrial, and residential purposes, which can make it highly valuable, especially in densely populated or resource rich area. So if I am a landowner, I'll as a factor of production, I know that land is limited. It's a scarce resource. Land cannot be moved. There's a fixed supply to it, and it is permanent and durable. Of course, the quality of land also varies from location to location, and therefore it's how much price it can demand or fetch also depends on the quality of the land and its location as well. Non-substitutable. Land is non-substitutable in the sense that no other factor of production can replace it. For example, you cannot replace a specific plot of agricultural land with machinery or labor. Correct. Non-substitutable. Income earning. Land can generate income through rent. Correct. Land generates income through rent. The owner of land can lease it or sell the right to use it, earning a return in the form of rent, which is a payment for the use of land. Rent is determined by the land's location, fertility, and its ability to be used in various ways, that is, for agriculture or mining or construction. Economic value. The land has economic value depending on its use and location. Its value can vary significantly based on its potential for productive use, urbanization, or natural resource extraction. These characteristics make land a unique factor of production in economics. Its fixed supply and potential for long-term use play an important role in shaping economies. Correct. Next, give features of monopoly. Monopoly is a market structure in which single producer or a seller controls the entire supply of a particular good or service with no close substitute. If I am a monopolist, or if my product is, if I control an entire market with my product, then I am a monopoly. That is, I am controlling in a monopoly, or monopoly refers to market structure, market condition in which there is only a single producer or seller who controls the entire supply of a particular good or service, there being no other close substitute. In a monopoly, the firm is the sole provider in the market. Sole provider in the market, giving it significant power over prices and output. Now let's look at the key features of monopoly. This question also comes separately. And or what is monopoly? For 2 marks this can come. Okay, and key features can come for a bigger question, bigger marks or higher marks, say 6 marks or maybe 13 marks question. Single seller. These are the features. In a monopoly there is a single seller. The single seller is also the price maker, and there are barriers to entry. There is lack of close substitutes. This all we already did in the definition. Price discrimination, this we'll learn. Control over supply, market power, inefficiency, profit maximization, and potential for long-term profits. Okay, let's go through one at a time. Single seller. In a monopoly, there is only one firm that supplies the entire market. Meaning my shoes, if I am a manufacturer of shoes, then my shoes are the only shoes in the market. I control the entire market of the shoes with my brand of different type of shoes. Now, actual example would be railways, Indian Railways, where only IRCTC manages the entire rail network of India. This firm is the sole producer and seller of the product or service, and there are no close substitutes. Price maker. The monopolist is a price maker, meaning they have the ability to set the price of the good or service rather than accepting the market price. Since the firm controls the supply, it can influence the price to maximize its profits. Barriers to entry. High barriers to entry prevent other firms from entering the market or competing with the monopolist. Barriers can include legal barrier, that is, there are patents, copyrights, or government regulations, or there is resource control. The monopolist may control a critical resource that no one else can access. Economies of scale. The monopolist may have such large scale production that it can produce at a lower cost, discouraging new entrants. Lack of close substitutes. There are no close substitutes for the monopolist's product. Consumers cannot easily find alternatives, which gives the monopoly firm a significant control over demand. So, consumers cannot easily find alternatives. Therefore, the monopoly gets a significant control over the demand. Price discrimination. A monopoly may engage in price discrimination, which involves charging different prices to different consumers based on their willingness to pay. This is possible because the monopolist can control the supply and capture more consumer surplus. Control over supply. The monopolist has complete control over the supply of the goods or service in the market. By adjusting its output, the monopolist can influence the market price and profit levels. Market power. Due to the lack of competition, the monopolist has market power, which means it can influence prices, restrict output, and affect the allocation of resources in the economy. This market power often leads to higher prices and lower qualities than would be seen in a competitive market. Inefficiencies. Monopolies are generally considered economically inefficient because the monopolist has less incentive to innovate or improve and can restrict output. Monopolies tend to lead to higher prices and less consumer choice. This can result in a dead weight loss to society, where potential economic welfare is not realized. Profit maximization. A monopolist maximizes profit by producing at an output level where marginal cost equals marginal revenue. That is, MC is equal to MR. But the price is set above the marginal cost, leading to higher profits compared to the competitive markets. A monopolist maximizes profit by producing at the output level where marginal cost equals marginal revenue, but the price is set above the marginal cost, leading to higher profits compared to competitive market. Potential for long-term profits. Unlike firms in competitive markets, monopolies can earn long-term profits because there are no competing firms entering the market to drive prices down. Examples of monopolies. Natural monopoly and government granted monopolies. In industries where high infrastructure costs make it inefficient to have more than one provider. Example, utilities like water, electricity, and so on. Government granted monopolies. Firms granted exclusive rights by the government, such as the postal service or patented drugs. Monopolies can have both positive and negative effects on the economy. While they can sometimes benefit from economies of scale or innovation, especially in industries like pharmaceuticals, they often result in higher prices, lower quality, and less innovation due to lack of competition. So I complete this video here. In the next video, we'll continue from the other questions. As I said, the video is going to be quite long, hours and hours long, because I have to complete many of these questions, and I'm going gradually, slowly, because I'm also learning along with you all. Thank you for listening. Take care. Bye bye. Best of luck for your exams. Don't stress out too much. Take care. Bye.